Welcome to all of you, gentlemen. Welcome to this webinar. This webinar, we wanted to discuss basically the preparedness of the hotel industry in the tourism sector in the country, and also the scenario which is existing in the tourism sector across the globe. So, for this, we have some expert panelists joined here. You can see all of them, and very happy to note that more than 250 have registered to participate in this. So we have the Director General of Tourism, Meenakshi Sharma ji from the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, and we have Pranab Sarkar, President of Indian Association Tour Operators. We have Sri Subhash Goyal ji, Honorable Secretary, FAITH, Federation of Associations in Indian Tourism and Hospitality. And we have BP Khanna joining us, who is the President of Association of Domestic Tour Operators in India. And Amresh Tiwari ji is Vice Chairman of India Convention Promotion Bureau. And lastly, and maybe today is the chief guest, Mr. Suman Billa, who is the Director, Technical Cooperation and Silk Road Development of UNWTO. So the structure of the webinar would be something like this, that we will request Mr. Suman Billa, who is heading in UNWTO, who can give us a global scenario, global perspective about the existing hospitality sector, the hotel sector, particularly the hotel industry, how the hotel industry is coming out with. I was just going through this, one of these UNWTO reports, latest report of the UNWTO, which has come out about 23 action points, which speaks about managing the crisis and mitigating the impact, providing stimulus and accelerating recovery, preparing for tomorrow. So these are the three broad categories. UNWTO has sent a report of 23 points of actions, and also the World Tourism and Travel Council has come out with some certain recommendations about the tourism hotel industry in USA, hotel industry in Europe, hotel industry in Dubai and Middle East, how they are coping up. In some of the places in Florida, New York, places have been opened up. In some places in Europe, hotels are opened up. Though the French President Macron was mentioning, even Ursula, the European Commission Commission President, was also mentioning that borders are getting sealed. The sealing of the borders. So when you're talking about the sealing of the borders, when you're talking about opening up the hotels, so how do you face this? On this, to invite Mr. Suman Billa to speak about the preparedness of the hotel industry across the globe, especially when we are having this contradictory situations where some people are opening up and some people are not, and you have a civil aviation sector across the globe taking different decisions in different countries. So how do you balance this when exactly, where exactly we are going ahead? So on this, I would like Mr. Suman Billa to respond and on. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you, sir. So to take your last question, the last idea first, on why some countries are opening up while some countries are, putting down restrictions, is because the pandemic is very staggered. Some of the countries have had the early onset of pandemic. Some are yet to get onto that curve. Some are actually peaking right now. So it's not that the entire globe is going to open up and shut down. So, but few trends that we can look at is that this is a crisis that is still going strong. A few days ago, the DG World Health Organization has said that for the first 1 million cases, it took 3 months, but for the second 1 million cases to happen in the world, it took only 8 days. So the speed, the spread of it is accelerating. Two is that the crisis that we are seeing today is like no other that the tourism sector has ever experienced. Because in 2003, when we had the SARS pandemic, it reduced international tourist arrivals by 0.4%. In 2009, when we had the global economic crisis, international tourist arrivals dropped by 4%. But today, we are seeing at a drop of anywhere between 60 to 80% for international tourist arrivals. And I think that is a number that nobody is prepared for. There is no business contingency plan that can cope with something of that magnitude. There is no government that can handle businesses during this. The other is that we also need to see how the global economy is going along. And the IMF has just predicted that from this year, the global economic contraction is going to be 4.9%. The earlier estimate was 3% that has been revised upwards. And the IMF also had earlier predicted that the next year, 2021, the bounce back will be plus 5.8%, that too on the basis of a smaller base, but that they have revised downwards to 5.4%. So even the global economy is not so looking so strong. So to my mind, I think there are 2 points that we need to look at. The global cues are weak. The second is that we are looking at a fairly protracted struggle, which means that 2020 is almost gone. Any real recovery is likely to happen in 2020. But on the plus side, if you look at some countries which had the early days of infections, like Spain and Italy, they have started opening up their economies now. For all practical purposes, it might be useful if others their might that the static doesn't catch. So like Spain and Italy are virtually open now. The trends are reasonably robust because even though there are new cases happening, the number of new cases is within the margin which the health system can catch. So it looks like we will be going forward to reopen the borders for tourism even without the vaccine or a clear medication. Once the vaccine comes, of course, all bets are we go back to normal. So as far as the hotels are concerned, um, one is that hotels will have to contend with reduced capacity because of social distancing norms. You may not be able to utilize all the rooms as you were before. But I think the most important thing for hotels to survive is going to be on how to retain consumer confidence. And I think, as people say, today trust is the new currency. And for that you need to have safety and hygiene protocols which are absolutely robust. And it is not important just to have the protocol in place and follow it, but it is also important for the consumer to know that those protocols are being followed well. As somebody was telling me the other day, it is not enough for hotels to just kill the germs and the virus. It is also important for hotels to kill the anxiety in the consumer when he comes, that he is not going to fall sick when he is going to come there. So I think one of the things that could be looked at is to see as to how some hygiene branding can be done. Several years ago, we all know that there was consumer confidence about toilets, about commodes, and then they used to put a little, paper wrapper saying that this has been sanitized for you. It goes a long distance towards retaining consumer confidence. So I think some of those things are something that we need to look at. How do we not just make sure that the protocols are followed, but how do we communicate? Because more and more the trend that we will see is that if the confidence is restored, consumers will tend to go to properties where they think they are going to be safe. The second is how do we train our staff with the new protocols and how do we upskill them? And there is no doubt that most of the hotels will be shedding several employees at this stage. But you will need to see who your key staff are for your critical operations and see as to how you can upskill them so that with the same number you will be able to induce a greater level of efficiency, and you might be able to, once you open up, you might be able to return stronger. One element that you said is about how states will cope with all the financial issues, and that is, I think you will have to engage strongly with the states on utility bills which are on actual basis. Like power, most of the hotels are billed on their average rate that they use. Today, when you use much less, I think you need to go to the states and take it on an actual basis. You need to look at bar licenses can be extended because no business has happened without paying additional money for under 6 months or so to do this. Property taxes, etc., can be deferred. So those are some elements that we can look at. But I think the opening up is going to be mostly domestic to begin with. And I think it will be driven by two things. One is the consumer confidence, and the second is going to be the value proposition. What is the price at which the consumer can access? And I think you need to have international will open up slowly, and you need to have a marketing plan which is very focused and which is very adaptable. And lastly, I think hotels, the world will not be the same after COVID. We are pretty sure that after this, we are going to go towards more concern for sustainability, for responsibility. We're going to be looking at several ideas which will be strongly coming into business, like how can we go towards a zero carbon footprint? How do hotels achieve zero food miles? How do we account for environmental costs beyond the economic cost? And how do we make the community as the centerpiece of the experience to make the tourist experience more meaningful? So I think these are some areas that this is probably the way that we are going to go forward, and it might be useful for hotels to plan, because I think you're hitting the reset button now, and this is the time to plan to see as to where we want to be once we reopen. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Suman. We will call you again once the question after the question answer session begins. Once the panelists are done with their presentations. So, but I will take it here. This 2020, one of the important points which Suman Billa has mentioned is that 2020 is really gone. It is what the American Hotel Federation is also mentioning. That American Hotel Federation's reports, they say that last year 1.1 billion room nights were engaged. This time they're expecting only 20% of that. Anyway, once I remember, in 2001, 2002, many of the state governments in India and globally also, we were talking about Vision 2020. Okay, Vision 2020. Everybody thought that 2020 is going to really a great year to look forward to, where nobody has expected that 2020 would be so disastrous, and where we are fighting of the mankind itself is at peril. Well, with that, I request Director General Madam, the Minister of Tourism, to speak to us and also tell us about the preparedness of the ministry, the Government of India, Minister of Tourism, where we have the inventory of the reports of mentioning about where the room inventory in India is more than 2.72 million, the hotel available, with 2.4 million employment, 2.4 million employment with 2.72 million rooms, of which 72% in the unbranded segment. Okay, so 1,40,000 rooms, whichever we are talking about, is on the branded segment. So 87% is managed by the small operators. What is going to happen to these hotels? In fact, I was reading one of the reports in Dubai. They say that 20 to 25% of the hotels may survive up to September, November, but more than 25% will not open the hotels. In India, particularly in India, there are many hotels which will not open their doors after December. So they don't have the capacity. So maybe with this introduction of Atmanirbhar Bharat and all, I request the Director General Madam to focus on this, the strength and the preparedness and the guidance given by the ministry to the hotel industry.
Thank you very much, Kamal, for inviting me here. It's a very important subject, and I think this webinar, when it is coming at a point where things have started unraveling in India, and we are able to see the way forward in little more clarity than we were able to see maybe a month back. I think it's an important webinar for discussing and also deciding the strategy. Mr. Suman Billa has already given a very nice overview how it looks across and some very clear home truths. There is no doubt about that things are not going to be very rosy. We are not able to say that the things are going to be, normal. Things are not going. There's going to be a new normal, as everybody is talking about. Challenges are huge. One is all about opening of the sector per se. Of course, a lot of restrictions are getting removed in India by and by. However, the confidence for bringing the hospitality and the travel back is going to take a lot of time. As everybody is quite aware, the challenges are multifold. The challenge one is that when this activity start, even for the domestic tourist. As of today, the rigidity in state borders are still there. There is a lot of fear which we are seeing. The domestic tourism, as we say, will start picking up hopefully once the curve gets in control. International tourism is a little far. However, with all this situation in mind, we need to be prepared for the better days. We need to be prepared whenever the tourism happens. And how do we handle? So it's a competitive market. As Suman has already said, that people will be looking at something where the confidence comes, because inventory is huge, choices are too many, the tourists who will be traveling will be much less. So it's all about being prepared in a good fashion, which is a combination of a lot of things. One is about being aware, being safe and hygiene. As you are aware, we have already come out with a operational requirements which the Ministry of Tourism has shared with the industry and the state government, which we are expecting that all the tourism service providers will provide. We are also working on an accreditation method with the help of the Quality Council of India, which will be able to give a kind of certification based on a lot of self-assessment, so that there is some kind of confidence which can be shared with the potential tourist. I think once that system is, which will create a more, in the minds of the little confidence that they are the things, they are particular thing which we can expect that these will be, when I reach a place, these are the things which I can expect. So that is about the safety and hygiene. This is also, I think that's absolutely the crucial point. The second point is that, as I think Mr. Suman Birla has already mentioned, it's not only about having a protocol or even doing that protocol with all sincerity, it's about the messaging. As most of you are aware, we already had a content message meeting few days back, and we are coming up with a strategy of communication, how to communicate to the world at large that this is what we are doing, and we are ready to receive the tourist in the best possible environment. And that strategy will be rolled out moment we are ready to roll out, looking at the situation of pandemic in India. So that's about the communication strategy. Another thing is, which is very important, is that how do we ensure that that the right kind of facilities are available. There is a lot of work which lies on the side of the industry. We need to understand the need of the customers. We can't expect that by messaging only, by only having the safety protocol, the mindset would change. People would like to look at the properties where the distancing can be maintained, where it is possible to have the good services without much of the contact. How do the various service providers, especially the hotels and the resorts and the other accommodation, they come out with. So I think there is a lot of re-engineering in the thought process which is required as far as the hospitality is concerned. I am happy to note that a lot of hotel chains, including ITDC, they have worked on this concept. They are coming out the strategy how to sell the right product and create the confidence. So as far as Ministry of Tourism and the state governments are concerned, we are quite focused on 3-4 things. One is about the safety and hygiene standard, which I have already talked about. We are also working on the communication strategy. We are also working with the Ministry of Home Affairs and Ministry of External Affairs to work on the right kind of a re-entry strategy, because as all of us are aware that air connectivity and all kind of transportation is also going through a change. How do we ensure that our tourists are still able to come, we can compete in the market? So these are the few initiatives which ministry is taking. We are in constant touch with the industry. I mean, we are quite aware that we have not been, the sector has suffered so badly that it is going to take a lot of time to revive it. There are going to be certain losses. I think that cannot be avoided. We will take time to come back to where we were. But once we are there and we keep our strategy right and we are able to provide the right services, it will take us time, but we will get back. And I think that's the need of the hour. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you very much for your insightful points mentioned here. The operational, as you rightly said, yes, hygiene is very, very important. Safety hygiene protocols are very important, which which already ministry has released that, and as a guideline, entire hospitality industry has received this, and I have spoken to them also. They are responding it quite well, and they're making all kinds of preparations. Once it gets opened up, they would like to have this entire health protocol in place as issued by the ministry. Now, I would like to go to Subhash Goyalji. I request him to speak about the new marketing strategies now. As Madam was mentioning, see, once it is a hygiene protocol, unless the hygiene protocol is followed, unless skill development is happening there for the existing staff, it is just not possible for anybody to enter. And how do you activate the demand? That's more important thing. Okay, you have to get the demand out. People have to come out, get out of their houses, and get out and visit places. So how do you promote the new techniques of tourism, new strategies of marketing? I want Subhash Goyalji to speak on new strategies.
First principle of marketing is we need to be focused on what we want to achieve. Secondly, we need to have a time-bound action plan. And thirdly, we have to evolve a strategy. As far as strategy is concerned, the DG has rightly mentioned that communication has to be there, and certification program which she's talked about is very, very important, so that the confidence of the people is there. She's doing it with the quality, association, and also if the health ministry or some of the hospitals could be involved, it will be better. It will give more people a confidence. But marketing is all about accessibility. You see, if you want an access in the market, you have to make the place accessible. You may do the best promotion in the world, but if we are not able to have access to the market, it is meaningless. So first and most important thing is, and this I have said earlier also, is the international flights need to start. Secondly, you see there are two types of people. One is we are afraid, we have hidden in our homes for a long time, but this virus is not going to go. Even after the medicine or vaccine comes out, we have to learn to live with this virus. Like we are living with tuberculosis, like we are living with cancer, like we are living with AIDS, like we are living with yellow fever. Only thing is, when you go to Africa, you have to have a yellow fever vaccine. So what we need to do is, and I appeal through the DG to the our civil aviation department in the ministry, that 15th July they are slowly starting the flights. Now what is happening is, right now all the flights that are coming in, there is a 7-day quarantine in the hotel, then there's a self quarantine for 7 days at home. You see, now before the people board the flights, we have to ensure that they are medically checked and there are proper scannings in the flights, so that the quarantine period is not there. People, once the tourist comes, he like to go to a destination. Yes, you can have a daily checkup in all the hotels where they are staying, where the role of the hotel comes very important. Just like after 9/11, every hotel has a an X-ray machine and a scanner. We should have in every hotel and every public place, even big restaurants, health scanners and body checks and daily temperature checks. But accessibility into India has not to be stopped by 7 days or 14 days quarantine. It will not work, right? Whatever we may do with our hotels, whatever campaign we may do, if a tourist has to come here and stay for 14 days in quarantine, it will not work. So we have to come up with a method whereby there is a daily check on people. Yes, you have a thorough check at the airport. If a person is found, you quarantine him. But if a person is normal, there is no need to quarantine him. You see, it is very, very important. Yes, all security, health security, safety standards, as far as masks are concerned, daily checking of temperature and all those things are concerned, yes, we have to do there. And but we as a nation, the center and the state have to work together. Like you mentioned about licenses, bar licenses, they need to be, uh, uh, at least for 1 year, there should be no license fee, or at least till 6 months. Similarly, electricity charges of hotels. Hardly the hotels are functioning. They should be given a concessional rate, the minimum possible rate. And whatever other statutory obligations are, they need to be relaxed. Thirdly, what is very important, very, very important is that hotels have to develop packages which are driving distance packages. You see, you cannot just depend on the foreign tourist. You see, you have to see that, if Delhi, hotels in Delhi have to advertise, they have to see advertise in Agra, Jaipur, or nearby, towns in Punjab, from where people can drive into Rajasthan, where people can drive into Delhi. Similarly, the hotels in all those areas must have that strategy, because it will take some time for the public to use public transport. Then you see, what is very, very important is, the confidence of India as a safe destination. And I have said this earlier also, that the image of India is not that good as far as cleanliness and hygiene is concerned. And I have said this in my book also, that public health and hygiene has to be made compulsory subject in our schools and colleges. I'm talking about long term. But short term, yes, on 15 July, we hope that international flights will start. And simultaneously, we have to start a campaign. Our visa policy has to be in coordination with the aviation policy. And we have to focus on those countries from where the flights, like Europe is open now. And so we will have initially flights from Europe, or wherever people of Indian origin are stranded, like US or UK. So we'll focus on those countries. And I think if we are able to do that, and psychological fear which has crept in the mind, you see, more people will die of economic starvation than will die of COVID, because we are keeping the country locked. So the policy of the government of unlocking is very, very important. And we have to observe all the safety and health standards. But psychologically, we have to also tell our media not to give the score of so many people, because I have been talking to some of the hospitals where, even someone is suffering from cold, he's put into the hospital for fear of, COVID. So, you see, we have to focus on positives, that how many thousands and lakhs of people have been cured. It's a curable disease. It's not uncurable. It is a curable disease. And only people who are above the age of 60 or 70 need to be careful. But as far as youngsters are concerned, the built-in immunity is there, and we have to learn to fight with this disease and live with this disease. I think so. I'll sum it up. One, we need to coordinate with civil aviation, tourism, and the Home Ministry for visas. We must be on the same plane. Second, there has to be 100% coordination between center and state. And thirdly, the hotels and the tour operators and travel agents have to work as one team, because wherever the tour operators have paid the hotels, they need the refunds. The refunds should be paid, and a compromise has to be arrived between the tour operators and the hoteliers, because we are in it together. So aviation, tourism, and transport, these are the 3-4 pillars on which you see the whole tourism industry will be based. And I think we are on the right direction. The government is ready with the marketing strategy. The aviation ministry is slowly opening up. Domestic flights have started. And I hope that Prime Minister today will announce some more opening up. And we have to live with this virus. We cannot, live in fear. We have to face it like we face war. You see, we have to face the virus and face it with a smile and face it with confidence. I'm sure if we all do it, we will overcome. And I see light in the end of the tunnel, and opening off of the skies. I see the silver lining on the dark clouds. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, and we are ready for question answers. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Subhashji. Thanks for highlighting the importance of civil aviation sector and also proper coordination between the Minister of Home Affairs, Civil Aviation, and the DG2, which DG Tourism has already mentioned that there's a lot of work going on among the departments, among the ministries. Yes, let us hope that things will improve in the civil aviation sector. The second point which you mentioned is regarding the health protocols, that they have to be screened. And the quarantine in the hotels, and few of the hotels are already declared. Some of them have volunteered, and some of them been declared by the state governments in different parts of the country in India, that they will be quarantined. Whoever is coming under I mean, the overseas or expatriates are coming back to India now. They are being placed in different hotels with different packages. Right. But some of the hotels are also made as quarantine hospitals. They're declared as notified as quarantine hospitals in various states. With that, I think some hotels are making some money, they are earning money, but more than earning money in the hotels, I think it's a contribution to the national interest now, taking care of the patients, whoever is coming there, because of the paucity of the beds. So many beds. Okay, now I invite Pranav Sarkarji, the president of IATO, to speak about the new protocols in the hotel industry, in the hotel sector. In ITDC recently, as DG Madam was mentioning, that we have conducted training. We have conducted training, in fact, more than 1,000 people on various protocols, right from the receptionists to the drivers, who receive the guests and bring them to the hotel near the receptionist, and people who are working in F&B, people who are dealing with business centers, banquet halls. How do you and housekeeping? The underlying philosophy is that contactless. Ultimately, the contactless business. The least contact is the best possible way. At the same time, giving them the confidence. As Suman Billa was mentioning, that you have to give the confidence to the people who are coming there. So these guests have to be given, provided with the best of the health protocols. HACCP standards, we have provided training to the more than 1,000 people in hazard analysis and critical care points. That protocol has been adopted, and Food and Safety Security of Authority of India guidelines are followed. WHO guidelines are being followed. So almost all the hotels in the country are prepared for that. So I request Pranav Sarkarji to speak about the new techniques, new skills that have to be adopted by, because earlier house people are only taking care of guests. Now they have to play the role of doctors also, nurses also. They have to tell them the nearest doctors, nearest nurses, make them comfortable that way. In the medical treatment also has to be provided. Okay. So I request Mr. Pranav Sarkarji to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Rao. Thank you very much for giving us this platform to talk about tourism. And I am a tour operator, and I am also heading the Indian Association of Tour Operators. So I will talk on the tourism perspective on tour operators requirement. And what we are looking forward is more important, that what we provide. We are providing services to our guests and to the clients. Not only that, but also before attending the clients, we are in the business to attract the tourists. We make our programs and we design the itineraries, and then we do the marketing. So we have to look into a whole scenario in one basket, that how we move around. So for us, the most difficult task is that we have to recognize the source market at the moment, because the whole world is now affected, and we need to focus on those countries. They are reviving fast, and then only we will go for with our preparedness with the marketing proposals, and then we work out seeing the condition of our own country, which are the areas which are safe, because at the moment how situation is going, we don't know. It is very unpredictable, and every fortnight we have to realistically look into that, where we stand, where the source market are standing. Therefore, on the basis of that, we have to work on the SOPs and the new normals, whatever is happening. Now we know that from arrival how we will keep the distancing with the tourist. Then we take them in the car. How sanitization and the SOPs for the car rentals has to be there. And then the guide service. Guides has to maintain a distance. And then checking into the hotels. Then checking in the hotels means there will be no touch-based hotel check-in, all online basis or on app basis. How you do it, that you have to look into, and most of the hotels are coming out with the proposals without touch check-in. And the sanitization of the baggages, the porters, they need to behave in a way. So we have to really work out in a whole people who are connected with the servicing of the tourists need to come to a new normals, and we have to study, we have to learn, we have to train them. So all the things are need to be, very, very important. We are not used to. This is for the first time it is happening that whole world is affected. And economically, we have gone down so drastically that the survival is very, very, important at the moment. And then we will talk about the revivals. Revival is very important because we have to keep ourselves ready post COVID activities. Now we are also working with ministry about the promotional activities, marketing, source market, identification, all those areas. And we are working very closely because we feel that Ministry of Tourism and the IATO both are one team, and we are working for the revival, and we exchange our views once in a while, and we are definitely in touch, and we look forward for a very positive future, because in a short time we have to come out with the proposals, and we have to get ready. The situation is this today, that whole thing is increasing in India, so we have to reduce all those things, because the message is not going very positive out of India at the moment. So we need to look at, as Suman Villaji has already expressed how we go about all those things. He has also already mentioned. And Mr. Goel also said that the opening of the borders are very important to start the international tourism. And of course, to start with, domestic tourism is very essential. But state governments have to give the assurance and the confidence level to the public that we are safe, you will not be put into the quarantine, and our hotels are welcoming, they are hygienically, they are best location to stay. Tourist locations are sanitized, and they are hygienically already taken care, so that you will be in a safe hand. All the monument SOPs has to be there, where social distancing and the area is totally clean, hygienically you can visit. So all those things one has to come, and then state has to announce. Now we had a webinar yesterday with Kerala Tourism, where Secretary Kerala Tourism was also there, and while asking the, you have to tell us a date when you are going to open, but there was no answer to that, because nobody can say what date we can start on, because they are busy now receiving all those standard passengers out of India, bringing to Kerala, and they are looking after that. At the moment, they are not in a position to declare a date. Similarly, last week when we had a webinar with Kashmir, where the advisor to the Lieutenant Governor and also the Secretary of Tourism was there. There also they could not tell us the date of opening, because everybody is waiting and watching. And most importantly, they also said that we are waiting and watching what others are doing. Now, last week, 2 weeks before, Rajasthan opened, and then suddenly again blocked for 1 week. Now, if I am promoting as a tour operator to a destination, now suddenly it is blocked. That means our tourists are also blocked. So we are not sure exactly how the states are going to react at present. So we have to very seriously wait and watch. And our home ministry is doing a very good job, and they are updating on daily basis. And it is the citizens of our country that they have to behave in a way that these numbers are reduced, because we are not conveying a positive note outside world. When world is deciding on a destination, they will see those destinations which is COVID free. So how long it will take for us to be COVID free? Means today's date, if we look at next 6 months, 6 months, there is a very, wait and watch situation. Then only we will come out of this, because in our case, it has been told that June, July will be the peak. So it will take another 2 to 3 months to come down. So that is all on the, assumption. Once those things go away, then we can think of, but in advance, we have to work on promotions, we have to work on marketing, we have to work on the situation where state governments are prepared, they are ready, and they will be welcoming, so that we are open to domestic. Once domestic is open and international borders are open, international flights are open, and then we can think of we are ready and we will be welcoming. And I'm sure with the help of Ministry of Tourism and the revival, working what the way we are working on revival issue on the marketing and the website and all those things, will definitely help us asking for the more tourists to come. And first we will target those countries which are going to be COVID free the earliest, those countries, and then we have to be ready with our country that we are COVID free. Then only people will come, because otherwise the vaccination, we don't know how long it will take, we don't know. And keeping in mind that COVID is still there, there is a limited chance of people visiting. Now, there is another segment of the marriages, weddings, and the mice. Those things will take some more time to come back, because we have still 50 people restrictions are going on. So with the 50 people restrictions, hotels are not really going to get the benefits. Still, the business will be there, but we have to be very, very safe. And I'm sure once it opens up, it will take a very short time to revive. And with this hope that we will come out very soon, I wish everyone all good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pranabji. And recently, Honorable Minister for Tourism also has mentioned that domestic tourism is going to be much more promising now because of the mortality rate. If you see internationally, the mortality rate compared to other countries, our mortality rate is less than 3%. So in future, same thing continues, or maybe we can bring down further. Maybe after 3-4 months, other countries, whenever they're coming, they may choose India as the destination, because there are many no man's lands. Least populated places are there, such as forests, beaches. The beaches of India are not as populous as Florida or Copacabana in Rio. Maybe because of the forestry, 27% of the forestry is available with us. We have national parks, large established national parks are there, Himalayas and Northeast. So where the no man's land. So people would like to go to no man's land. In that way, the domestic tourism is going to maybe, I should not use the word flourish, but domestic tourism is looking very promising this time. In fact, one of the webinars I was seeing last week, it is known as revenge tourism. People are talking about revenge tourism also, that people will come out. Because of this last 3-4 months, people are living in the rooms. They want to come out and aggressively do domestically. Something, staycation has become a word now. The staycation, to speak about staycation, I invite Mr. I.B. Khannaji. Khannaji is Domestic Tour Operators Association to speak about how the domestic tourism is going to be promoted, and the challenges in staycation. I don't see much challenge in that, but I see a lot of movement happening from south to north, north to south, east to west, and west to end within the country. Ms. Khannaji, can you please throw some light on that?
Thank you, Mr. Rao, and thank you to everybody. Good evening to everybody. And as you know, Mr. Rao said that we have to start from the scratch now. Activities in the tourism has come to grindal halt totally. And the service provider, as a service provider, we are really ready with our products, waiting to receive the customers at our doorsteps. People are waiting to see a near normal conditions in the economy activities in their area. Nearby area, I mean, it has to be promoted. If you are talking about the domestic tourism, which is actually the hazard is happening because of the traveling resulting in 14 days and 7 days quarantine, as everybody is talking about here, the quarantine jeopardizing their program of the in the domestic travel, that if they travel from one state to another state, maybe they have to go for the quarantine for 7 days or 14 days as per the the norms of the different states. And this matter is now looming in their minds, that how exactly where to travel, how to travel, and exactly what are the stations nearby where they can travel safely and with the hygiene, all the standards. So the state government should give some kind of a assurance to the people for a trouble-free visit. That is very important. And as many activities are controlled by the center and the state governments, by WHO or by the health ministry, saying guideline that please come stay and this place is definitely it's safe, it will not suffice, but it should be made practical for everyone individually to participate for the safety and the the hygiene guidelines. That is very much important in our to promote the domestic tourism in the country. uh, Only then that services they provide should be, it should be a benchmark for everybody, and bring more customers to the place with satisfaction and feeling of safety. People will travel only when it is necessary and build up confidence. And it is also necessary that they, wherever they go, it creates a kind of example to follow with the others. So these are the things which are very well, and everybody knows that it has been almost 3 weeks now since India began journey to unlock 1, and today our prime minister is going to announce unlock 2 from tomorrow, and how to revive the economy activities in the last 3 weeks. And though the cases have been doubled in India, as government across states focus on restarting economic activity, tourism and hospitality industry also received the much needed respite to restart operation. In India, we see some markets are opening and reviving the bookings, witnessing sustainable growth at moment. Out of India, if you take total, Hyderabad is, Telangana is doing very well, and contributing almost about 20% of the total bookings, along with the the Bangalore, Chandigarh, and Calcutta, as well as the Delhi and NCR are also gaining some kind of a bookings for the future, not but July, August. And as everybody knows, that the monsoon season is also coming, and people, it will pick up definitely. And we are also looking for the bookings of the, like everybody is saying, the domestic tourism is and the domestic airlines have already started, and even the bookings on the airlines have been increased by 30% in June compared to May. So this is a good sign that it is creating a kind of a confidence in the people, and the people are waiting for to go for the vacation and expecting more destinations, planning to overcome with the guests. So these are the things which are very important, but both ministries and the state tourism boards need to work in tandem to provide the necessary ingredients to the public to win their confidence to travel across India. Now, as everybody knows, the WTTC along with the UNWTO have also launched one safety and hygiene, globally safety and hygiene stamp. So in that card, the similar way, if we can really appoint some kind of a trusted government or non-government agency which should assess the intensity of the COVID-19 spread and how safe it is travel at places where stakeholders are providing services in the country, and bring it to the notice of public through TV channels, through media, social media, yesterday only I was seeing somewhere that FHRIA has launched one guidebook. So I would like to say, which is certifying actually, but they have to certify, like Madam DG also said, that it is very, very much necessary to certify those hotels and certify those stakeholders, those who are really adhering to all these norms and the guidelines. So it will create a confidence in the minds of the people to stay there. And being ITDC is a government organization, along with the FHRIA, they can also certify the hotels which are really adhering to the norms and the guidelines, and they are following all these things which are really required to travel and to welcome the guests. So what basically India is a, the population of almost about 70% of the population is the youngsters, almost at the age of 30 to 35. So we have a very good opportunity. We are not being a very elderly nation where exactly, so we can always capitalize into the youngsters to go for the beach tourism, go for the sport tourism, go for the adventure tourism, and we can always also capitalize, the elderly people for the pilgrimage, for the, the religious tourism, for the cruise tourism, for the wellness, for the spa. So we have all kinds of opportunities open in the domestic market, provided the a good governance is very, very much required, and our best efforts, the stakeholders' best efforts, can really bring and balance the upsetting of the domestic tourism in a right perspective. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Kannaji. Thank you very much. Regarding these hygiene and protocols, see, Four Seasons Hotels have entered into an agreement with the John Hopkins Medical Center. Similarly, in fact, yesterday ITDC has signed an agreement with the AIIMS. We have signed an MOU with AIIMS, who will be advising us implementation of the health protocol. So every hotel is having its own structure, creating its own structures, its own committees to adhere to the hygiene protocol, and hopefully domestic tourism will be bringing much of life immediately. Let's see now. Next, I go to I invite Mr. Amresh Tiwari, who is the Vice Chairman of India Convention Promotion Board. So he will be speaking about the MICE tourism, and in fact, in the hotels, the hotels industry operates on a very thin band of profitability. So maximum profitability is coming out only through banquets and the marriages and the conventions. So these kind of things are not going to happen now. I mean, it will become things of the past. So how are we going to cope up with that? That I request Mr. Amresh Tiwari to speak on this MICE tourism and the legal aspects, because many of the hotels suffer with the lease rentals. They're suffering with the lease rentals, repayments, the credit payments are there, repayments to the bankers. So many financial constraints are there for the hotel industry now. Can I invite Mr. Amresh Tiwari to focus on these aspects?
Thank you. Namaste, everyone. Namaste is not a symbol welcome, the symbol of welcome. It is prescribed dynamics of the host and guest relationship. That's how we market the MICE in India. So I firmly believe that India have a very important role for MICE and social events like the wedding. This kind of business need to be bring back, and I genuinely believe MICE will come back very strongly. New normal would never be without MICE. So as Dr. Rao said, regarding the legal challenges, yes, we do the hotel industry because a huge capital incentive industry. So facing the problem of the moratorium, which need to be 1 year to 2 years, license fees, in the bar license fees, the hotel operating license fees, various license fees, the rentals, property tax, lease rent, utility bills on actual, as Mr. Billa already pointed out, the refunds, the cancellation clause. There are lots of GST, advanced taxes, there are lots of legal lacunas which state government and central government both together, along with the district administration, need to sort it out. And this will be there. And Ashoka Hotel being a flagship hotel of ITDC, I wanted to, and that is basically a MICE, one of the MICE hub in the central of Delhi. I need to give some suggestion on how hotel need to focus on smart ways to capture a rapidly shrinking marketplace. First is and foremost is the cancellation policy. If guests are knowing that there will be no cancellation or they have this authority to postpone the booking, they are most likely to the reservation. So that cancellation policy need to be on a very clearly communicated. It's good time to consider scrapping if you are taking advance deposit for making the confirmation. In terms of your communication, your cancellation policy should be sure to make it highly visible across all your channels, including your hotel website, social media, email. My second suggestion is book revenue of existing booking. Extend your stay package like tempting discount, incentive to guests like free use of minibar, luxury room upgrade, free spa treatments, complimentary drinks, etc. in the bar every day. That will boost the revenue. Third suggestion is driving new bookings. Attract those who want to escape the confines of home, because last 4 months people are confined. And if you give the nice setup in the hotel to stay them, as well as they can work on the high speed internet work. So let's have people are the tribes who can drive their business and move to the hotel. My fourth suggestion is refine your target audience. The older generations are less likely to travel given the associated risk of COVID for the next few months at least. So I think if you target the young generation more, so your marketing effort will be more focused. My fifth suggestion is change your call of action, what we say COA. So drive new business is a tough proposition at the moment. So instead of using book now on your website or various places, use the word like, explore the hotel, or see the hotel. So this will be more appropriate with the various offer attached to them. Then go active on the social. Lots of the hotelier are not very active in terms of their social media, the communication that need to be very active. Rethink your website content. So like SEO and paid search, which was not an option earlier, you need to more focus. And what I mean to say, you need to more focus like cooking demos. Let your chef every day do the one cooking demos for the public audience. Do the home care, how people take care of the home, hygiene, sanitize, the kind of experience you guys have. You can do this home care, through your website and create an awareness and good image for the hotel. Fitness, people are sitting at home, your gym are ideal. Let the gym instructor get involved and they talk about how to keep yourself fit and small activities he can engage the people. Relaxation, your spa team is free. Let them give the people tips on the self massage, deep the breathing practice, meditation technique. That will help a lot. Managing through the crisis, lots of people are tackling the crisis, how to protect the crisis, but what no one is answering, what will happen when the corona positive case right in the lobby, if we find a positive case in the lobby or in the room, no hotel is talking. In the future, people will see not only how hygiene you have, how much you are prepared in case of crisis to handle it. Are you having a tie-up with the leading hospital in the India to take the patient there? Are you going to take about the bill to take care everything? So your preparedness to handle the crisis during this corona time, if a positive cases land up in your reception or lobby, how you are going to happen, that is going to be very important. And my last submission to you, every hotelier, everyone talking about the training to their employees, to the stakeholders. No one is talking about training to your ad hoc employees. Almost 70-80% your employees are the ad hoc employees, the outsource employees. How you are going to train them, how you are going to train your vendors? No one is doing those training. I never seen any hotel is doing the training with the travel agent or the tour operator or the guide or the median assist guide, those who bring the from airport to hotel, or the transporter or the driver or the porters or the banqueting staff which is coming. It's very important to train them at when the business will start. These are the guys who will be your brand ambassador, who will be your goodwill ambassador. So these are my marketing tips to you. In terms of the legality, we all know most of the problem which is coming, that only can be sorted when the state and legal central government, because tourism is not a state industry and tourism is a state subject. So we all need to fight with the government. If we get the industry status, the tourism industry get an industry status, so lots of problem will already start getting sorted out, because industry benefit will be passed on to the hotel or the other tourism stakeholders as well, and that will be taken care of. So we are asking independently, as Dada was rightly saying, yesterday we spoken to the Rani George. Before that, we had a meeting with the Jammu Kashmir, Andhra government, Maharashtra government, with the Varsaji. Everyone has a different opinion on that. Some are very positive, some are, having the concern because they will take the matter further. So I think if together we can get this tourism industry status to industry, lots of legal problem will be sorted out. I think I'll end up with this. There is lots of big hope for the MICE, and definitely there will be no new normal without the MICE and the weddings. That is the key mantra for the success for any hotel. Thank you.
Thank you, Amresh. Thank you. Just for your information, Ashoka Hotel and the recent training sessions that we held, we also gave training to people on contract basis.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful,
Yeah.
sir.
So shall we go for a question answer session if all panelists are welcoming
sure,
that?
sir. Sure.
Yeah. ESG, can we have question answers?
We ordered certain questions, 3-4 questions, which were there. Only marked to you, and one to, I think, Bhaj LG.
Yeah.
Can you read out the question?
I have received one question. This question says the speaker spoke of social distancing. How can it be done with promotional activities in ongoing COVID-19? The person who is asking this question is Mr. Sanjeev Kumar. How can the question is not clear? ESG, can you just reset the question and send it?
Well, actually, once I send questions, how many it doesn't show on my screen then, sir. Once I have forwarded question to you, it will not show on my screen.
Sir, shall I read out the question?
Yeah, please.
Read out.
Yes, sir. Sir, first question is, tourists make full payments before start of tours. Now that lockdown is over, request your tour operator to pay up RGLs immediately.
Yeah, that's what Mr. Khanna was also telling, and Amrish Tiwari is also telling. Mr. Khanna, would you like to take this question?
Can you please repeat it?
Yes,
Can
sir.
you please repeat the question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Tourists make full payments before start of tours. Now that
Yeah.
lockdown is over, request your tour operator to pay up RGLs immediately.
RLGs immediately.
RLGs immediately, yes, sir.
See, this is actually what we are talking about, the cancellation policies. There was no kind of a cancellation policies which are, down here in our industry. Why we call it as an unorganized this sector? Because of this, there's no kind of a such policies are made and by the government or by the hotels or by the tour operators. So these problems are facing everybody, and even I am also facing problem with some of the hotels that they are not paying it. The refunds for that, what exactly I had given the bookings. So this is a regular where we have to draw a line with the government, with central government or the state governments, along with FHRI or with the HRI or with the other bodies, so that we don't face all these problems. So exactly this is my answer.
Madam, would you like to respond on this?
The problem here is that, as Mr. Khanna has already mentioned, that it's all about factual agreements. There is nothing which is a policy is there, because I think when there's a whole, we are talking of a backward forward linkages. So we have been encouraging as far as possible to come out on a right decision, because if services have been given, they must be paid for. But if services have not been given, how much of the burden can be shared is something which the whole sector has to look after. There is no point in pushing the buck from one to the another. So I think I will not like to give a very definite answer to it, because situation to situation, case to case will differ. I only will say if the service is rendered, please pay. But if the services have not been rendered, then you have to come out how to share the losses. Because here we are sharing losses, not the profits.
Thank you so much, madam. Thank you very much. Yeah. Shall we go to the next question, please?
I think,
Yes, sir,
can
next-
I answer for both? In fact, you know,
Yeah,
before,
yeah.
as Madam DG also said, before we go for any of the, you know, the bookings and everything, we should make a contract. We should make with the, you know, the policymaker or the vendors that what exactly contract about the cancellation policies. Unfortunately, we are not actually looking into that. The cancellation, we are just doing the booking and booking forward, booking I le liya, aage badh gaya. But this is not the right way. We have to make some kind of policies and we have to adhere to that.
Yeah, next question, please.
Yes, sir. Next question is from Sanjeev Kumar Sharma. He is asking, in terms of opening hotels, we will have to plan soft opening now.
In fact, it is more of a suggestion, sir. It's not a question. Actually, it's more of a suggestion actually.
Subhashji would like to respond to this.
Yes, I think it's a good suggestion. We have to open up because we can't remain closed forever. And coming back to this cancellation issue, it's a very serious issue. You know, in UK, there's an insurance policy. Every ticket that is sold, you see, there is an insurance. And when Thomas Cook went bankrupt, you see, all the people who were stranded abroad were brought back because of the insurance money that they have. I think now Ministry of Tourism and Aviation will have to come up with an insurance policy whereby, you know, because this was something which no one anticipated or planned for, this pandemic. But the lessons we have to learn is that we need to be prepared, you know, and in future, we have to have an insurance policy for all the business that we are conducting, so that neither the travel agent nor the hotelier nor the so we need to but as of now I think the airlines, the hotels, because the travel agent and tour operator is in the last rung of the ladder, right? The bulk of the money goes to the airlines and the hotels. So I think they have to be liberal in refunding the money to the tour operator so that he can further refund to the you know, the customer. So I think we have to look at it more seriously, and we have to find a solution. There's no problem in the world, as DG mentioned, that when we are sharing the profits, we should also learn to share the losses. But yes, we have to share it on the same proportion as we had been sharing the revenue. So I think on that basis, some solution has to work out.
Thank you. Go to the next question.
Yes, sir. Next question is again from Mr. Sanjeev Kumar Sharma. How can we boost B&B and homestay now in terms of domestic tourists?
Madam, would you like to respond to that?
So I would say that this is a good time to promote the homestays and the thing, because homestays have a benefit of normally being in the places which are not as accessible sometime, but sometimes it may be in very crowded area which are going to face a huge challenge. The homestay, now let's look at the positive points which might help them, and there may be something which are negative. The positives are, because it's a very controlled situation, the training and the assurance level is very high, and because the traveler is able to see what kind of services are being given, it's easier. The difficult point is that how will is it? Can they be trained and mass? Can we assure them? Can the certification can be done as well as it can be done in hotels? The hotels which are larger in size, they have the more bandwidth, are able to train their staff more correctly. However, so again, as we said earlier, also it's a question of balance. It's about also the question of what kind of branding they do, what kind of messaging. But as I mentioned, that the accreditation which Ministry of Tourism is working is also available for the homestays, and more on self-assessment, but on very specific criteria. That is why we have Quality Council of India to provide that, because we understand, especially in the adventure tourism, in the far-flung area, homestays may be the way to go for the tourists. So I think That would be my response here.
Well, we can take 2 more questions now because of paucity of time. Next question, please.
Yes, sir. Next question is from Mr. Anil Kumar. Please clarify if international flights will resume by 15th July. If not, any approximate dates of international flights operation?
Yeah, I'll respond to this. See, the CA has sent a circular that they will allow scheduled flights to operate from 15th of July. Already, you know, Air India has been operating, and a lot of other airlines, Ethiopian Airlines, Sri Lanka, all airlines have been operating repatriation flights for nationals of their countries which are stranded. So the airports are open, airports are not closed. The only thing is that from 15 July when they open, whether the quarantine, 7-day quarantine in the hotel and 7-day quarantine, self-quarantine in the hotel will remain. That will encourage tourists to come in. But right now, the flights that will start from 15th will start from those countries like Europe, which is, you know, inter-European flights have started. Or maybe
DG Madam would like to add something on this about the international flights, Madam. The Ministry must be having the latest updates on this.
As far as the flights, Mr. Goyal was correct about it. However, that is only a part reply because it does not immediately talk about the tourism, because then the entry barriers and the visa and the rigidity of visas would come in. That is one area which is still open, which has been decided, and I think it's a very important open area, because as you might have been hearing that we can have these bubbles, the flight bubbles, you know, country to country, because we have to see from both the side, the host country from the guest country. So I think again this is an area which we are still working on. So I won't say that 15th July is the day when the international tourism starts. I won't say that.
only flights will start.
Yeah. Next question.
Yes, sir. Next question is from Maria Lobo. The speaker spoke about social distancing for guides on tours. My fear is the beggars and vendors, etc., who actually touch tourists to get their attention. How will you tackle this problem?
Subhashi?
This is a very serious problem. I had written an article sometimes back about beggars in Hindustan Time, I think about 10 years back. See, this has to be tackled with the police and the local governments, because here begging is not needy people, but it has become a mafia and a profession. And this needs to be tackled very seriously, because I think whoever asked the question, a very intelligent question, that these are the things which spoil the image of country as a neat and clean place. So we need to tackle this. It's a very serious issue. I agree with this.
Actually, state governments are also involved in this. State government,
yes.
State police has a major role to play there, and
Yes.
state departments will have to be addressed.
And
So
just
can
to
I
add
ask
that,
if Suman Billa is online, I would like to ask Suman Billa one question. Suman?
I'm here. I'm here.
Can I ask to Mr. Suman Billa?
He's there. He's there.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, yeah. So I have a question to you, Suman, regarding opening up the markets. You know, India. Hopefully, there'll be some medicine on the bed, some medicine on the bed in near future. So once India opens up, you know, whether how well we can market Ayurveda, because you know everybody is looking at India as a destination for wellness. So when you talk about the wellness destination, very few wellness destinations in the world, India tops the list. So when you talk about wellness, you talk about Ayurveda. So is becoming really popular in European markets? If so, how do you promote Ayurveda? How do you bring them? This is my question to you.
So I think when the flights will begin will largely depend on how the pandemic itself plays out, and I think India is still So even though we might want flights to go, today the EU has banned flights from 4 countries. That includes India, Brazil, China, US, and India are the 4 countries. There lots of. Once the pandemic is under control, we will have more and more access that will open. The second is you also mentioned something about children's tourism, and I think that is critical because the pandemic has taken a lot of toll on the emotional health and the mental health of people, and as also physical. So it makes a lot of sense for people to travel for Ayurveda to rebalance themselves and to come back to to detox and come back to normal. So I think Ayurveda is a great opportunity, and if we market it well, as soon as the flights open up, I think we are going to see a lot of benefit there. Thank you.
Thank you, Suman. Thank you. Any more questions you are coming up? Tiwari
I think there's one more question. Sandeep, you read it out.
Okay, yeah, please. Last question.
Yes, sir.
Last question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There is a question from Mr. Sanjeev Kumar Sharma. How can we done promotional activities in ongoing COVID-19?
So that has already been addressed. Promotional activities has already been addressed by the DG, Director General, and Subhash Goyal has addressed it. Unless it is specific, I think it's quite a general question, which entire industry, the stakeholders, everybody is gearing up to open up and do the marketing. So with this, I think we would like to conclude today's webinar. I thank each and everybody, especially Mr. Suman Billa, all the way from Spain, who has taken out some time to give us the global perspective. And Director General, Madam, thank you so much from the Ministry of Tourism, giving us perspective on Indian tourism and its roadmap ahead. And Subhash Goyal has got many webinars to attend to. I think most of the times he's on webinars. Then I thank P.P. Khanna, Amresh Tiwari ji, you have Pranam Sarkar. Yeah, Pranam Sarkar, thanks a lot. And I wish everybody the best.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Piyush ji, for coordinating everything.
Thank you, Piyush. Thank you, Piyush, for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
In
you,
fact, we
Mr.
should
Rao.
thank him. It was his idea that ITCC is into all the fields of related to tourism. We are not only hoteliers. Simply said, ITDC is present in tourism also, travel also, hospitality also. So let us have a conglomerate of experts who could give their opinion on all the sectors of the tourism. And as he desired, we would be holding some more webinars on a specific field. Only on hospitality and hotels, once maybe only on travel, once only on tourism. So thank you, everybody.
The industry is with ITDC, no problem.
Thank you.
Always supporting IT.
We're all together. We're all together. We are the part of the industry. Yeah.
And you have
And I
also
know-
always supported us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you very much.